Hi ladies, it's Mr. O'Sullivan. Today is March 16th. It is Tuesday. It is an edPuzzle day. Today's lesson covers Exponent Basics, multiplication, division, and power to power. These things are words I just said are just some rules that we're going to be looking at in terms of exponents. Today's LT is I can apply the rules of exponents by simplifying the expressions containing exponents. So that's our learning target for today. And as I mentioned yesterday, over the next few weeks, we're going to be learning about these exponential functions and their characteristics and the tremendous role that they play in math. Just as a recap, we can say 2 to the 5th, where 2 is our base and 5 is our exponent. And then the 2 goes with our base. And that just means 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. And whenever we look at this, we sort of want to say to ourselves, how many 2's am I really thinking about? How many x's am I thinking about? Well, if I'm raising this 2 to the 5th power, then I have 5 2's, which is confirmed when I look at this. So for the following set of examples, we want to write out an expanded form and evaluate. So if I look, I have 5 to the 3rd. So when we write that out into expanded form, I have to ask myself, how many 5's do I have? And I have 3 of them. So I'm going to do 5 times 5 times 5. Now that I have that, I'm just going to type it into my calculator and see what I get. Beep, boop, beep, boop. I get 125. And that's my final answer. Now let's look at our next example. I have 4x to the 3rd. So I have 4, and then I have 3 x's, so 1, 2, 3. Now I have a times 7, and I'm going to have 6 x's this time. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now all I have to do is just multiply. So I'm going to do 4 times 7, which is 28. And now I'm going to count those x's. And if you look, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So my final answer is 28x to the 9th. Now let's go on to our next example. I have 3 squared and 3 to the 3rd. So when I write out my 3 squared, I'm going to write it out as 3 times 3. And then I have 3 3's this time. So I have 1, 2. I'm going to change the color. 3. Ooh, yep, just 3 to the 3rd. Now I'm just going to type that into my calculator and see what I get. I get 243. That's my final answer. Okay, so if you look, we actually could have done this a little quicker. There's no need to show all that work. What we could have done was we could have just used our rule for multiplication of powers with the same base. So this only works when you have the same base. So for instance, 4 and 7 are not our base. X is our base. 4 and 7 are just coefficients. In this example, 2 is our base because that's what's attached to our exponent. It is literally attached to it. 5 is our base. 4 coefficient, 7 coefficient, 3 base, 3 base. So whenever you have x to the a times x to the b, you can literally just do x to the a plus b. Now you're probably wondering, okay, so what does that mean for these previous examples we just did? Well, if you look, what's 3 plus 6? 9. 4 times 7, 28. Then you write your x. So if I have x to the square, 2 times x to the 5th, what I'm just going to do is I have to ask myself, do they have the same base? Yes, they do. They're both x's. So what's 2 plus 5? 7. Now I have to do the next example. What's 5 times 2? 10. 3 plus 5, 8. So I get x to the 8th. And then last but not least, I look at my y's. 2 plus 9 is 11. So I get y to the 11th. And that's my final answer. Now, for the next 2 examples, we need to write them out in expanded form and then evaluate. So we have to do our evaluations again, so we want to make sure it's simple, simple, simple. So we write these out in expanded form. I have 4x to the 3rd. So what this is saying is that I have 4x 3 times. So I'm going to write 4x times 4x times 4x. I now have to ask myself what 4 times 4 times 4 is. Well, 4 times 4 times 4 is 64. Now I have an x, and now I have to ask myself, how many x's do I have? I have 1, 2, 3, so I have x to the third. That's your final answer. Number 2, I have negative 3x squared to the squared. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write that negative 3x squared twice. So I'm going to do negative 3x squared times negative 3x squared. So if you look, this is just like our example we did before, with the addition of powers, or exponents, sorry. I just multiply my negative 3's. Negative 3 times negative 3 is a positive 9. And then 2 plus 2 is 4. So I have x to the fourth. So our rule for power to a power, so basically when you're raising an exponent to a power, is x to the ab. So basically all you're going to do is you're just going to multiply them. So I'm going to do x to the ab. So you're going to multiply those two powers. So if I have x to the 2, x squared to the third, I'm just going to do 2 times 3, which is 6. In this example, what I'm going to do is I would do 3 to the fourth, x to the fourth, y to the 2 times 4. We know 3 to the fourth is 81. And then I just have x to the fourth, y to the eighth. And that's how you do it. And we are going to cover division tomorrow. Ladies, if you have any questions, please email myself or Miss Townsend. That is it for today. You are just going to be completing this edPuzzle and a short delta math. And again, if you have any questions, please email myself or Miss Townsend. Have a great day, ladies.